Hey wave makers, it's Moana, a teenage girl with a lot to say and a lot more to learn. This is Making Waves. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we are diving into 3 books that actually genuinely changed my life, changed my perspective, changed my mental health, and I'm not a huge reader. I'm definitely a reader, but I read 12 books this year. I have a friend who she posts on Instagram all the time. I love her. She knows who she is. She read so far this year, as I'm recording this, because this is being recorded before the end of the year. She's read, I think, like 72 books, which is insane. That's so crazy, like so impressive. I'm on my 12th book currently. I'm reading Surrounded by Idiots, but there are 3 books this year that really stood out to me that have genuinely, I think, changed my life. So we're going to start off with the first one, which is actually sitting right here if you're watching on video, and it is 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do by Amy Morin. I love her. I actually posted the book on my story, and she replied and like DM'd me, which is really cool. But I love her, and I love the way she writes, but I love this book. I think that it puts so many things into perspective because, and I've talked about this before, we are all so focused on ourselves and we forget that not everybody else is as focused on us as we are focused on us. And so this definitely puts that into perspective a lot, and so many other things. It's so well written because it uses stories and education together, and she uses the stories to teach, which it's really nice to see those real world examples that, you can relate to and find and pick out those things that like, oh, hey, that is something that I do, or that doesn't really affect me, or, oh, I know somebody who does do this. The 13 things are also all so impactful to learn about and to realize that there are things that you're doing that when you stop doing them, it can really change the game. Some of the things in the book were things that I've already stopped doing because I realized these things, and other things were things that I would have never thought like that it's having a negative effect on me or realized that I'm even doing. I think it's a really great book for non-readers. Honestly, the first 2 out of the 3 of these are really good for non-readers. Like, if you hate reading these first 2 books, please trust me, pick them up. I will send you a copy. Pick up the book and read it, because it really will, if you put in the energy to read it and really listen to what the author is saying, you will feel like a whole different person. And it is very rare for me to talk about just one resource, like one YouTube video, one TED Talk, one book that actually does change your life, because I think that there are very few things that actually have the power to do that without you being intentional about it. But these things, I think that just reading them and really trying to gather as much and learn as much as you can from them will make a huge difference for you. The second book is one that I have talked about for probably almost a year now on this podcast. I've probably mentioned it about 80 times. 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think by Brianna Wiest. I love her as an author, but this book is one of my favorite books of all time. It's amazing for non-readers. Like I said, this is definitely the number 1 book I recommend to people who don't read, because it is so easy to read. It is actually a lot thicker. When it came from Amazon, it came in the mail and it was like an inch thick, and I was like, oh, that is not what I was expecting. But when I started, and I was like, no, I don't really want to read this. It's going to be really long, and I hate reading long books. But then I started to read it, and I realized that because every single essay, there's 101 of them in this book, so they're really easy to get through, because each essay is like 1 to 5 pages probably, and so they're really easy to get through. And I caught myself even a few times just like I started reading more and more of them. I was like, oh, I'll just read one more essay. Oh, I'll read one more. And then, next thing I know, I'm 20 more episodes in, or essays in. Wow. Episodes is crazy. 21 essays in. But I think the biggest thing about this book is the perspective shift that comes with it, because it really did take me from hating my current situation of being a teenager, not feeling like I wasn't in control of my life, and feeling just not enjoying living. As like, if you're a teenager and you don't feel like you're thriving and enjoying life, the book made me realize that. And it's not even specific for teenagers. It is just a general book. But I think just the huge perspective shift it gives you, and it also really does a good job, helping you understand what you can control, what you have the ability to change about yourself, is just huge. But seriously, I went from not enjoying life to absolutely loving it after reading this book. I think it is a huge, huge, huge shift in perspective is like the main thing. I think that perspective is everything and mindset is everything. And this book will really change the way you think. So I definitely recommend that one. I think that, like I said, perfect for non-readers because, number one, you can either read it front cover to back cover, and, it might take you 100 days, but you can read one essay a day. Or, if you are a reader, you might get through it quicker than that. But you can also jump to different essays because they're all in the table of contents. So if something sounds interesting to you, you can skip to that one. Or if you're struggling with something specific, you can skip to that one. All the essays are they're about everything from relationships to self-love to mindset to health. So many different topics covered in this one book that if I had to pick a book that I could only read that one for the rest of my life, I would choose this book because I think there is so much that you can learn, and I will definitely be reading it again, which I hate reading books again, but this is one that I definitely go back to. Even for planning the podcast, I have so many thoughts on this. I could do a whole podcast on this and I'll write it out in my podcast plan. I've done that in the past because she does such a good job condensing these topics into, these short 1 to 5 page essays that, when you're done reading it, you're like, wow, I have so many thoughts on this, and it can really shift the whole way you see things. And the third book is specifically for my girlies who are striving towards financial freedom, or you want to learn about money and don't want to rely on other people. And it is Girls That Invest. There is a podcast to go along with it, but it is by Simran Kaur. I love her. If you are not a good or big reader, you can definitely listen to the podcast. But the book is really, really great. Not only does it teach you how to start investing and what it takes to invest and just so much finance education, it also helps you shift your mindset about finances and money and really can change the way you think about it and help you better understand how accessible wealth is, and helps, it gets rid of that barrier that a lot of us feel, at least that I felt, and I know a lot of people feel, where there is so much language within investing. And, we watch movies and TV shows where they're using all of these technical terms about investing in the stock market and finances because no, we don't have a degree in finance. But she does such a good job making those terms show how simple they actually are. And the fact that they are literally, it's just lingo that is used, but it is so much simpler than that. And it gives you a full step-by-step with homework of how you can take control of your finances and learn to invest and grow your money, which I think is so important, especially for young girls to learn about. It genuinely, like, even if you were to take away all the actual education about how to, and it just had the mindset part of it, would be a huge game changer, especially when people have such a hard time talking about money. And it's such a, I want to say superficial is the right word. Like, people like, oh, I don't want to talk about money. Like, we don't talk about money. Don't ask people how much they make. And she does such a good job talking about this and how that can have such a negative effect, especially on younger generations, because nobody is talking about money. So how are they supposed to learn? So those are the 3 books from this year from 2024 that really changed my life. And I would recommend to every single one of you. Seriously, please, at least one of these, at least 101 essays. That is literally one of my favorite books of all time. trust me, if you're anxious, if you're struggling with self-confidence and self-love, if you're struggling with depression or anxiety or just overall mental or physical health and mindset, these books and not feel like a different person.